Hey, everybody, and welcome to my live call here on Facebook. I'm so excited to have Corey Miller with me today. And if you are on live right now and you can hear us okay and you can see us okay, if you could just comment below, that would be wonderful. If not, then if you have my number, text me so I know. But I wanted to talk to Corey today because I really think that she is one of the great leaders on our team. And you've been coaching how long, Corey?
Over 9 years now.
Oh, over 9 years. So you kind of signed up the same time around when Janelle signed up then.
Exactly the same
Yes.
day.
And Corey was a personal trainer, a group exercise instructor, all of those things. And she's going to share a little bit about her story as well as, how this is beneficial, this opportunity with Beachbody to become a coach, how it really expands your business. Because I think a lot of people look at this like it's competition with their current business, and it so is the opposite. It actually expands your business. So she's just going to go through some of the misconceptions and myths about that, as well as how she incorporated coaching when she was working full time. Because I think a lot of people, they think that they're just so busy with home and family life, which they probably are, and working full time. And if they're in the fitness field already, they just kind of think, well, I want to make this go and I don't want to add something to my plate, when in actuality, this vehicle could really help save them time in the long run and create much more of a lucrative income. So with that, I'm going to introduce Corey. So you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, Corey.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to apologize because, am I echoing?
Oh, no, you're fine.
Okay, so I want to apologize because I had every intention to shower and be ready after my workout today, and it just didn't happen. So I don't even know what this thing is going on here, but that's okay. Oh, well, such is the life of someone that's in the fitness world. That just has how it goes. So needless to say, I've been a coach for over 9 years now. And I just always like to say, first and foremost, I am a wife. I'm a mom of 3 crazy kids. I have an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And they're involved in literally like every sport possible. So that's really what my life revolves around. So my life now is definitely different than it was 9 years ago. 9 years ago, when I first signed up to be a coach, I was working full time. I actually had a full-time job. I was also working in the fitness industry as a group fitness instructor and a personal trainer, and trying to make everything work. And, at the time I had 2 small kids at home. Actually, when I signed up to be a coach, my daughter was only 6 weeks old. 6 weeks old. So when people say they don't have time, I get it, guys. I have been there. No matter, you're never going to have the perfect time in your life. It just is what it is. You're always going to have something going on. But if you're truly passionate about something and want to make changes in your life for the better, you will find the time. And I'll talk about that in a second. But needless to say, going back to my background, my undergrad is actually in communications and my master's is in education. And although I love educating and I love teaching and so forth, I just didn't want to spend my days in the classroom. I wanted to figure out a way to have fitness be my full-time gig. I really, really did. And so I did dabble in overseeing clubs. I actually oversaw a series of ladies-only clubs in the Toledo and Michigan area, about 7 clubs. So I was the group fitness director. I was the personal training director for a period of time. And I just really knew I wanted to be in full-time fitness. But guys, if you're already in the personal training world or the group fitness world, it is tough to make a decent income without working 1,000 hours. I literally, back 9 years ago, in my early 30s, I don't like to say how old I am, but yes, it's definitely but I literally was teaching like 20 to 25 classes a week. And that's because I wanted so badly for fitness to be my full-time gig. But in order to do that, when you get paid hourly as a group fitness instructor or hourly as a personal trainer, that means you got to work a lot of hours. You got to work a lot of hours to get that done. And with 2 small kids at home, that was getting harder to do. Before I was married, before we had kids, of course, I could teach at 6 a.m. and then again, all day long until 8 o'clock at night. It was no big deal. But when kids come along, your schedule is definitely different. And so when I became a coach, yes, I was working full time. I was personal training. I was a group fitness instructor. And in all honesty, at first I didn't get it. I didn't get how to incorporate everything together. That was number one. I definitely have never had all of the answers, for sure. Everything that I've done with my coaching business has been trial and error. It has been, let's see if this works. And we have made so many mistakes. I've made so many mistakes in my coaching business. But one thing I definitely learned is that it's not about what works best for you. It's about finding the solution for someone else. So there really is an amazing opportunity to combine either group fitness instructing or personal training with the Beachbody opportunity. Because I'll just give you an example here. When you're personal training someone, and say you're working in the gym atmosphere, you're very limited to those people that are coming in the door. You can only work physically with someone that's physically with you, right? Well, with Beachbody coaching, you can work with people all over the country. I mean, my current challenge group that I'm running right now, I have people local. There's local people in here, but there's people in California. There's people in Florida. There's people in New Jersey, all over the country. And it's amazing to me that how many more people that I can reach with the Beachbody coaching opportunity. So it doesn't mean that, I don't still enjoy working with people one-on-one in person, but I love the fact that I can reach so many more people. And then even the people that I work with in person, combining additional training on top of what I can provide them one-on-one is huge. It's very rare that you can find someone that can afford to pay a personal trainer 5 days a week, right? They're going to need something else. And it's not just what you do one-on-one with that person for that 1 hour each week. And this is what I would tell my personal training clients. It's not what I do with you during this hour. It's what you do with yourself the rest of the week. So providing them with the tools that Beachbody provides is so huge. And the cool thing about Beachbody products and programs is that the tools are there. They're laid out for you. There's calendars. There's, of course, you can hybrid some things in, or you can help them create a program. But it's laid out. You don't have to be the expert when it comes to those Beachbody programs, because Beachbody has amazing master trainers, amazing people on staff to give that and to hand you those tools. And you're kind of like that tour guide to help somebody connect with them. So, when you talk about bringing together a personal training business with your Beachbody business, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer to be able to do both.
Now, did you feel at that time, though, that in a way, because I've talked to so many personal trainers and studio owners, and there's just this stigma, and they feel as though, I trained and I'm NASM certified and I've got all these certifications, and, I would be laughed at on the gym floor if I then decided to be a Beachbody coach, because not all coaches are personal trainers and they're not experts, So did you get all of that as well? Or do you get?
Not so much then, but since then I have had people that have said the exact same thing to me. When I've talked to somebody that is a personal trainer and they've said, well, why would I want to work in the same atmosphere as Beachbody coaches that don't have the certifications that I have? Right. That's because we never claim as coaches to have the certifications. We don't claim to be the experts. We are, again, if you want to use that word, tour guide, or we're the liaison between the amazing products that Beachbody puts out and that customer, okay? Just because you have the education does not make you the best teacher. And I'm a huge believer. I was actually just talking to someone this morning about that. Sometimes the best players don't make the best coaches. Sometimes the best coaches don't make the best players. And I kind of relate that with what we do as coaches. Just because you know your stuff when it comes to exercise physiology or anything like that does not make you a good personal trainer. You can have the education without being a good trainer. And what I think Beachbody coaches is we're just a listening ear. We're somebody to help. We're real people with real problems and real successes. And we're just that relatable person. And that's one thing that I always tell them. I never claim as a Beachbody coach to have that education. Yes, I do have that education, but not all my coaches do, and that's okay. Some of my best coaches are the ones without the education because they're passion. If you don't have the passion, it doesn't matter what your education is, for sure.
Right. And that's what I've always tried to convey, is that as people who are in the health and fitness field already, we have such an advantage.
Absolutely.
Because we can add so much more and use the tools that Beachbody gives us to supplement what we're doing. So that way, when people are on vacation, they still have access to us online and our challenge groups. Now, did you feel as though that it was going to compete with your business at all?
Never. I have never felt that, only because I believe, again, in connecting someone with the tools that they need. And, I've never felt that it's a competition. Now, I've been very, like, if you are working in the gym atmosphere, I've been very conscious of not overstepping my boundaries as a personal trainer or a group fitness instructor and trying to promote my body business. Like, I've been very conscious of that. But that doesn't mean that I can't make personal connections with someone one-on-one through social media or whatever and talk to them through that, and I've never felt that it's a competition because, here's the deal. Here's, an example. I CrossFit. Even though I love Beachbody programs, I still CrossFit. But guess what? There's a lot of CrossFitters that can really benefit from a lot of the programs that Beachbody puts out. For example, CrossFitters, in my opinion, lack mobility. I'm one of them. I lack mobility. And so it's kind of like, how amazing 3-week yoga retreat, PiYo, things that can supplement that your body needs different things, So I never think there's a competition.
The nutrition.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you want to do your own programming with people in the gym with exercise and all of that, now you have nutrition that they can use at home.
Absolutely.
And it just makes everything, now you're helping them. So even if you make meal plans for people, having either the Shakeology or any kind of supplementation, they're going to either buy their protein shakes or whatever at the GNC or even at the gym, whatever it is. So why wouldn't you supplement that for them and help them,
Performance line, Shakeology. I remember when Shakeology, first came out. So when I first became a coach, Shakeology wasn't even around. It wasn't even developed until, like a year later of me being a coach. And I remember distinctly, and Janelle will say the same thing, when it first came out, I honestly didn't buy it, guys. I didn't buy it because I thought, who is going to spend this amount of money on a protein shake? And I was not comparing apples to apples. And obviously that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
But needless to say, having Shakeology in my life for the last 8 years, what people need to realize, and I'm a big advocate of this, is it's not just about weight loss. It's about health. And it's not just about working out that hour a day or half hour a day or whatever you do. It's what you do all of the time. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Believe me, I am far from perfect when it comes to my nutrition. But I know that at least having my Shakeology, I'm feeding my body the superfoods that it needs. I'm feeding my body the fuel that it needs every single day, So do I need to stay away from the chocolate a little more? Yes. Do I need to stay away from, some of the things that I
ice cream, all things, those are my weaknesses.
Well, and my problem is I get into something like, say, like Halo Top, all right? Yeah, that's a better alternative to whatever you're eating, but then I just eat it every day. Why am I doing this?
I know. Well, that's really awesome because you're the first person that I've had on, I think, as a personal trainer who has been so successful with your business here, and you actually are in the Million Club, meaning like over your 9 years, you've made over $1 million. And I don't know how long you've been in that club, but it's been a while.
The way I built my business was a little bit differently with my husband's business and so forth, and that doesn't count towards the recognition, but that's okay. Like I'm not a person that's recognition. So yeah.
Awesome. So what were some of your biggest, would you say, hesitations or misconceptions? I know you talked about some of them in terms of personal training, but for you
personally, for sure.
What were some of your misconceptions?
I can tell you right off the bat, the minute that Janelle called me and said, hey, so what, have you ever heard of this Beachbody? And honestly, I had never heard of it. Of course, I knew Turbo Jam. At the time, Turbo Jam wasn't even out. Of course, I knew Turbo Jam. I loved Turbo in the gym atmosphere. But honestly, the name Beachbody, right off the bat, I was like, listen, I am so far from having a Beachbody. I have never had a Beachbody. How the hell could I work for a company that's called Beachbody? And it's funny because I know our CEO, Carl Deichler, will talk about that name too. But needless to say, I am someone that has always struggled with their weight. I am someone that is not, I've never been a size 2. I've never even close to being a size 2, and it just isn't in me. But needless to say, that was one of my biggest hesitations. And remember, I had a 6-week-old daughter at home. I had a lot of weight to lose. And actually, in my first, years, 18 months of being a coach, I lost about 80 pounds after having my daughter because it was such a motivator. It was such a it held me accountable to what I was doing. But that was one of my biggest misconceptions, is that you had to be perfect. It is that you had to have that beach body in order to be a successful coach. And in all honesty, I believe one of the reasons I have been able to be successful is because I am a real person. You know, one of the biggest things I always say is, when I was a personal training director, I oversaw, I want to say, between the 7 clubs, maybe like 30 personal trainers. And when I would have a new client or customer of the gym come to me and say, I want to start personal training, but I don't want to work with so-and-so, or I do want to work with so-and-so. And they would kind of, have their person that they wanted to work with. A lot of times, more times than not, guys, they would say to me, I'm intimidated by so-and-so because of the fact that she doesn't struggle. She's at a point where she has an amazing body, and I'm not taking away from anybody that works hard to have an amazing body. Please know that. But I would have people say to me, I feel more comfortable weighing in front of you. I mean, there are a lot more women out there that weigh over 150, 160, 170 pounds that you think that people think that like 125 pounds is like the norm in society, and it is not. And so when you have, I shouldn't be even giving monetary, I shouldn't even be putting a number on anything right now. I apologize. But needless to say, my whole point is, whatever number is floating out there in society is probably not what most women are. And they're intimidated sometimes. Like, I know I'm intimidated to weigh in. I don't want to weigh in front of somebody that may not know what it's like to struggle with their weight. You know what I mean? And so I know, as a personal training director, I would have people say, I'm more comfortable working with so-and-so because they know what it's like to struggle. They may know what it's like to weigh a little more on the scale or have that number be a little larger. Right. So that was one of my biggest misconceptions, is that you had to be skinny or you had to be in perfect shape. And I really, truly believe that when you show your imperfections, when you show the fact that you struggle with ice cream or chocolate or whatever it is, you're a real person. You're a real person, and that's what people relate with. So that was one of my biggest misconceptions when I first joined as a coach, for sure.
Great. And then how did you, like when you said you had a 6-week-old baby, did you start working the business at that time and right off the bat? How did you even do it?
Well, I will tell you, it was like, I was so excited about it. I became what's called a diamond coach, and you don't even need to know what that means, but very, very quickly, not because I knew I was becoming a diamond coach, but because I literally was just so excited about it. And from there, it was like I just kind of grew, but it did take time and energy. And I will be honest, in the first about 6 months to a year, even 18 months, I didn't realize the potential of the business, because back then, 9 years ago, it's a little different than it is now. You do see successful network marketers. Back then, it was kind of like, ooh, they must be great salespeople, or they must be great, and just all these negative connotations. And not that being a salesperson is negative, but it wasn't for me. It just wasn't something that I was good at, and I still am not good at it. But back then, I just didn't see the potential of the business. And it's not because I didn't believe in Beachbody or the products. I just didn't think, I don't know. I just didn't think it was possible until I started seeing other people in the business be successful. And I was like, well, what the heck? I'm a little competitive. If they can do it, I can do it too. And so when I started buckling down, thinking to myself, I know I do not want to go to a 9-to-5 job every day for the rest of my life. I know that when my kids get old enough to be playing sports and being involved in activities, I don't want to have to be that mom that says, number one, no, I'm sorry, we can't afford for you to play. I mean, my kids play travel softball, travel baseball, hockey. It's not.
Your schedule is insane.
And it's not inexpensive. Let's just say that, okay? Like, it's definitely expensive. Lessons, craziness. So number one, I was nervous about financial. Number two, I was nervous about missing out on their practice. I was self-employed. Still is self-employed. So was my mom. And I didn't that when there. So that was huge. So I was willing. I was willing to put in time to have the life I have now. I was willing to work harder back then to create a life that I am that freedom.
Yeah. And about how long did it take you, would you say, to feel as though you had kind of like gotten to a point where your income was you started to feel a little stable in your income.
Sure. So like that, here, then it was about 2.5 years into my coaching business that I was making tasks that was my full time. So I quit that. And then since then, it's just kind of grown and prospered. And there's been ups and downs. Don't get me wrong. I cannot say that it's always been uphill. You know, there's definitely been some changes and things like that. But needless to say, it is what I mean, how many people can say that they do what they love and they love what they do? It is very, very rare. And I knew that I did not want to work somewhere for someone else, work harder for someone else, for them to make more money when I could be making more money for myself doing what I love. And that was super important for me.
So what is some of your advice for anybody right now in the fitness field who might be considering doing this, but then they just can't, they're not sure, they're on the fence? Like, what would you tell them?
Number one, ask questions. So the person, that that's inviting you to learn more, ask questions, figure it out. That's one of my biggest things is just hit number one, have an open mind. So many times people are like, boom, closed off. Nope. And I can't imagine what my life would be like if I was one of those people 9 years ago that the minute Janelle called me, I was like, oh, nope, Beachbody, oh, network marketing, nope. I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine what my life would be like. It would not be the same. So number one, have an open mind. Number two, try out the products and things for yourself. Try out the performance line, try out Shakeology, get on Beachbody On Demand and look at the programs, because I think you'll find, and that was one of my biggest things, is it's not we always hear get rich quick. Yes, Beachbody's not a get rich quick, but it's also not a get fit quick. And I appreciate that so much. Yeah, Shakeology is the healthiest meal of the day, but you can't just drink that shake and lose weight and be healthy, okay? Right. You can't just do one of the programs and do we're just going to do a sidestep and, and burn calories. No, these are legit programs that are hard to do, that take energy, that take commitment. That's what I love. So that's what I would suggest. Number one, open your mind. And number two, try it before you knock it, because I think you'll find that there's a lot of thought that goes behind these programs and products.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this, Corey. I think this was just fantastic. And if anybody has questions about anything for either me or Corey, please don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us, because Corey's got a master's degree in education. I have a master's in education. I have a PhD in health. Professional people are doing this. And we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't believe in it and feel as though our background helps it, and the fact that it's not necessarily an alternative. It just is a supplement to what we're doing. And if you even just want to do something part-time, you need part-time work online. And you're just like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it with my current business. If you're personal training or if you're in the health field, you just want to supplement. It's okay to do that. And we would teach you how to supplement it and do it correctly so that, you're not infringing on anybody, or you're not breaking any rules or anything like that. We would teach you how to do it the proper way so that you can really expand into the marketplace and give more of your knowledge to more people. So that's what it does for us. And hopefully, for anyone out there who has been watching us and, it's just kind of like, Beachbody or whatever, network marketing or, these people. But honestly, I was one of those people too. I think everybody is one of those people. They just don't think that it's like a real thing and that you can really make any money in it. And I will say the majority of people don't make money in it because they don't treat it like a business. But if you do treat it like a business and you are committed to the long-term vision of what you want, you can make something very, very lucrative, and you can achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve with it. So, but thank you so much again, Corey. This was awesome.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you, everybody who got on. And again, message Corey if you have any questions. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes.